In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this Wednesday, June 11th, meeting of the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee was posted on the Township website and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this meeting would take place at the Municipal Building at 7 p.m. Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Okay. So I can help with roll call?
Yep. Vanessa Jones.
Present.
Anne Marie Arleski. Here. Christopher Gonda.
Here.
Jim Kolagowski.
Here.
Suresh Lal.
Here.
Ignacia Patel.
Present.
Okay. Councilman Karazi.
Here.
I called you Anne Marie, right? I did. Okay. Patrick Murray.
Here.
Okay. And I'm here, Tara Kenyon. I think that's it, right? Yep. Okay. We're missing Robert. Yeah, but he may come late. He didn't tell me otherwise.
It's still, we're early, so we
Yeah.
got started promptly.
Promptly.
Okay, great. So welcome, Patrick. I don't know, there's not the swearing in part, that doesn't happen at this meeting, right?
No. So, did you receive a written oath or anything?
I did the oath.
And you did it at the clerk's office. So, yep.
Just for all of us, welcome, Patrick.
It's official. Welcome.
And we just did roll call, so you kind of heard all of our names, but at any point, we're happy to pause and introduce ourselves further. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes.
I had a lot of trouble with the minutes because we did have a recording again on YouTube. But in any case, I did what I could from my notes and memory.
The recording wasn't up on YouTube?
I didn't see it. So, Jim, sorry I included you. It's just something's got to blend together. But
I'd like to be in two places at
yeah.
one spot. One of them wouldn't be here, but, you know.
But we're welcome to any changes, and I'm sorry about that for any inconsistencies with the motions.
And you are a master editor of minutes, so for you not to be here.
I retired from that. So let the young people do that, right?
No, but I mean, finding the typos.
Oh, the typos, yeah, the E should be.
Yeah, you're the master.
Yeah. Well, this is an easy one. I know I wasn't here.
Right. The only thing that was brought to our attention is, so Jim's absent, so we gotta move that. And then the motions that were made by Jim probably are supposed to be Robert, is what we deduced, right? Jim, is that what you
That's what I was
thought?
thinking. I don't know, but.
I
RK.
made a motion where I didn't record it.
So where, for example, under number 3, it says seconded by JK. That's probably actually RK because Robert was here, so that is what we think you're thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And there's one in number 4.
Okay, yeah,
Another
he's seconded
JK.
again, yeah. Okay, I can fix it here, Chris, so you don't have to. And then where's another one? So we got, oh, yep, you're excused. Okay, so it's just those two, actually.
those two.
That was it. Okay.
Not sure you said you were here last.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
I-
Connected already in this
Oh,
topic.
okay, excellent.
Along with that, Patrick was with us at the last meeting, and on our website it says your term began in April. So I don't know if it's if I should have him listed as one of the members.
So even on this paper, it says from
Yeah,
April.
April 22nd.
Yeah.
I was approved April 22nd, but I didn't.
Yeah, so that would have been after our
Maybe
meeting.
that's when the
I don't swear the oath until.
Yeah, and April 22nd, I think would have been after our meeting, so we can put him down as public. And then this month we'll put him down as, as member.
Is the term is still correct on here, 4/22?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Great. So can we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes with amendments.
Abstain.
All in favor? Abstentions? Any nays? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to public comments, there's nobody here from the public,
No public.
so we can bypass to the site plan review, and there's no site plan for this meeting.
No site plans for this meeting, yep.
Moving on to new business. So we have the Somerset County Trails Grant Program.
Yes, so Somerset County has come out with a Trails Grant Program. We did talk about it a little bit at our Open Space Advisory Committee, not last month, but the month before. And Chris Kelly came and kind of like gave a little overview about it. Chris Kelly's the chair of the Somerset County Open Space Advisory Committee. So I'm gonna pull up what it is, but basically, let me get it up here for you. Basically, this way we can like just look at it.
And Chris used to serve on this committee as well. I took his seat.
So this is through their Open Space Farmland and Historic Trust Fund. The program supports the goal of the walk, bike, and hike plan, which is true. So how it works, from looking at it, it looks like it's very similar to the way their old open space grant used to work. So any municipality can make a request for a grant to the County Open Space Advisory Committee. You have to go and make a presentation before the committee. The requester should be in writing, has to have a description of the project, cost estimate, what you need, and at minimum a concept plan. So you have to have a minimum drawn concept plan, which we have someone in engineering that can do that for us. The request is then considered by the Open Space Committee, and a recommendation is made to the county commissioners. So basically, once the Open Space Advisory Committee says, yes, we think you should have this, the county commissioners get that recommendation, and they actually approve the authorization of funding. It's on a rolling basis, so you can apply basically until they run out of money, right? So it depends on how that goes. My understanding is every municipality can get a grant at first, and then once everyone has received a grant, then they'll consider doing a second round of grants. What it can allow is construction of new or upgrades to existing paved and unpaved trails. They say a trail is defined as a travel way, you know, basically what trail is. Maintenance is not considered an eligible project. So this is to develop a new trail or to expand or upgrade an existing trail. Improvements are also eligible, including pedestrian bridges, shelters, benches, trailhead parking under 5,000 square feet, fencing, landscaping, signage, and kiosks. You can also include costs for design, consultant fees, permitting fees can be included, and other associated costs. So that's a really good thing because that a lot of time is what stops people. Ineligible uses include, you know, basically making planning reports, master plan elements, sidewalk development, and so I don't think that's anything we'd be doing anyway. You can't apply for reimbursement, so it has to be for a new project that you're doing. So we can't, you know, apply for a grant for something we've already started to put into place. And it says again that you can apply for more grant through here, but that municipalities applying for funding as a first time get priority. So they want everyone to have a crack at it. There's no maximum dollar amount. Again, it's a case by case. So it's how much do you, and this is exactly how their old open space program used to work. So you would get one shot at it, and, you know, if you got it and you can justify the funds, you know, then you can get it. So, consideration and priority is given to whether the property or recreational improvement within the municipality where there has not been a significant amount of county open space money spent, or the area is not conducive to the spending of open space money or because of lack of available land. There's a whole bunch of, you know, regulations and everything associated with it, but the municipality should be prepared to attend a meeting of the Open Space Advisory Committee. You present your idea, they ask you questions about it, you present your concept plan and your cost estimate. If the request is denied, they'll let the commissioners know on behalf of the Open Space Committee, and then you can apply again. Doesn't mean you can't apply again. If it's approved by the commissioners, they'll let us know via letter, and then we enter basically into a grant agreement with them to figure out how you get the funding. Projects have to be completed within 18 months of the acceptance of the grant. So not, when you're approved, but when you sign the agreement, you have 18 months from them to complete the project. Let's see what else here. The municipality may request an extension. They don't say for how long, but they just say you may request an extension. If you need, throughout the project, you have to periodically, communicate with the county, and we have to submit any documents for review. So as we're going forward in construction or anything else, we have to kind of keep them in the loop, basically, and let them know. Once you satisfy the requirements of the grant agreement, a check is issued by the county. So basically, you do the work, you put the payment out, and then you get reimbursed at the end of the project. And so that's basically it. So we did discuss this at the Open Space Committee briefly, because we were trying to see if what the Open Space Committee's thoughts were, and their thoughts were kind of, if there's a good project we want to apply for, we can. We want to make sure we think it through and apply for something that is, that we really have been wanting to do for a while, and that we're prepared to do it, and that, because there's these time constraints on it. So that's kind of as far as we went. At the last meeting, they were kind of like, okay, well, it's on a rolling basis, so let's take our time, whatever. But obviously, it makes more sense to be back at this committee anyway. So that's where we are at.
So are you looking for projects now?
Projects, and we have a few that we have been thinking about for a while.
And I know, I guess, what stuck out to me was, and maybe I'm misunderstanding it, was what Chris had shared was kind of like a first come, first serve. So like when you're reading this, I'm hearing on a rolling basis, it seems very loose. Like it seems like there's not a rush, but when he says to me first come, first serve, so I don't know.
The reason they say first come, first serve is because with any, especially now in this atmosphere, government funding, there's always a risk that it might be shut off. It might be, so it's basically like they have money in their open space trust. It's set aside for here. If people come in with tons of great projects and they spend what they want to spend, the commissioners say, we spent a lot this year, let's wait, then they can stop it. I will tell you just from experience, their old open space program ran for years and years and years with no problems. I can't say it's going to be the exact same.
Yeah, so I just asked Tara to kind of put this on our agenda, knowing that when open space is ready to kind of move forward. There's a couple of things that we've been talking about on this committee, so I thought it would be good for us to kind of decide if there's something that we wanted to push forward. So I know one of the things that we've been talking about recently is expanding our accessible trails. And we talked about Negri, the trails at Negri. We have the one from the parking lot to the bird blind, which is handicap accessible. And we had talked about possibility of expanding that in the park. So if even if that loop around the bird blind, when we had done that therapeutic recreation event, we got so much positive feedback. We did have a wheelchair, a participant, and we had another person saying, if I knew, I would have brought my husband. He has a wheelchair. I didn't realize. And so anyhow, I know that was one thing. So I wanted us to talk about that. I don't know if there's what other projects?
The other two that come to mind are, and before I go forward, I just want to say, no, I don't want to feel like you're not under a time crunch whatsoever, but I am meeting with the Open Space Committee on next Tuesday, and then they don't meet again until September, which is no big deal because again, it's fine, we have time. Not that, but if we come to something that we want at the next open space meeting, I can say, Vanessa will be there, we can say, this is what we're thinking about, should we go forward and look into this? So that would be good. But the other two projects that we've been talking about is the Naaman Williams Park Trail in the wetlands area, in the wooded area. The thing that's been holding us back from moving forward with that is the potential cost of permitting, which engineering has told me will be huge, but this grant actually can cover permitting costs. So we do have a concept for that actually. We have a green infrastructure. That's actually something that we have the information to present. We have to put together a cost estimate about the permitting fees and the boardwalk and all that, but that's one project. And the other one is the trail at County Route 518 property.
I was just going to mention that.
Yeah.
We also did talk about the trail at.
Wickle?
No, not at all. In the trail in the across from the school. That's a that's a need, what do they call it? A trail?
A desire path?
Yeah, the desire path.
Yeah,
Right, the desire path.
Hillcrest.
Right,
yes.
because
Okay.
something like this,
Oh.
like I read this, right, and, I read this, and there would be, the kind of, right, correct, Hillcrest, the kind of, potentially the kind of funds to improve the on-street crossing, right? That's a place where people are traveling on foot anyway, right? And it might be an opportunity to improve the safety, to improve the motion, and improve mobility within within a part of the town that has much less attention to it.
Got it.
In terms of trails. I definitely would like that to stay on this.
Yep, it's on the list. I just added it to the list. So we have four options. Does anyone else have any ideas these are 4 great ideas. So, and 4 that we could definitely,
Now, are we allowed to, does it have to be one?
one. And then after,
Cluster them together?
no. I guess the only way we could cluster them together is if there was some type of thread or continuity between them. But I think really the purpose of this grant is to do kind of be like, hey, you have that one big project you've been working on, let's do it. And it says we can apply for a second one. So a year and a half from now, if we finish and we're like, you know what, it's still going, let's apply for another one, we can absolutely apply for another one. But there's no cost limit on this. So, again, this was years ago, but when I worked at the county, this is about 15 years ago, their minimum would be like $1 million is what people would come in with. And this is years ago. So that's what I'm saying. They haven't described a maximum. So I think it's worth,
Amazing opportunity.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we
So-
take the biggest swing, right?
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
the one had the high permitting cost, right, that would have made it otherwise unaffordable. 518 is a completely new trail,
New,
right,
yeah.
which is good. The Hillcrest will obviously also be particularly expensive, right? But
Yeah.
that is at least defined in the mobility plan, right?
Yeah,
So
and
it's very well
that is in
defined.
a plan, yep. Mhm.
And then I think the problem with the 518 trail is we'd have to, how do we put together what we're going to ask for, right? Because we'd have
Right.
to, that's a ton of
We'll have
work.
to do the study,
Right.
yeah.
That's why it's good to talk about it, because this is a huge sum of money that
Yeah.
could really move that project forward.
Right.
Just haphazard, let's do this. It would be,
Yeah.
okay, let's do the plan, let's figure out the trail, let's
Right.
make a trail through there. It would be an amazing step forward with
I was
that kind
thinking of it
money.
just in the terms of the way government works, right? How much information do we have to put together? And I'm not suggesting one or the other. I'm just, kind of just
Yeah.
thinking through how each of these are actually big ideas,
Yeah.
right? That would require some funding to make them
We
happen.
do have access to Maureen Sturgeon. She's a civil engineer and she works in our engineering department. So in the past with previous park designs, she really puts those together. So we can work with her because they say you need a minimum concept plan. Now, what Robert is saying is right. Something to back us up and give us more is the 2 projects that actually have plans behind them is the Naaman Williams Park one and the Hillcrest School Connection. We actually have planning documents to support those projects. Not saying that we can't do the other ones. The new project at County Route 518, we have developed a parking area there. We have preserved it as open space, so it's clear the intent is there. That project, we could include benches, a kiosk, we could include the ADA compliant material. So that's that. The Negri Napodi, I love the idea of expanding ADA compliant trails. The only reason in my mind that is a lower priority, not that it's in terms of just this grant, is because I don't know if it has enough because it's like the trail is there. We're it's already a preserved grassland that's in an area where we have a lot of preserved land and trails as it is, and we don't really have our goal is to expand ADA compliant trails, and we absolutely want to do that, but we don't have a solid plan in place, shovel ready is basically what I mean.
And looking at our goals for this year that we set as a committee, I know Naaman Williams is on one of the first ones. Then we also have the but that's separate. We have Negri, but the bird blind at Negri, and trail development 518. So these are all things that are in our goals for this year, and then also expanding ADA compliant trails in the township. So I feel like we just, we're hitting
Yeah.
a lot of things there.
Any idea the cost-wise, like the first high priority project, how much were you asking them?
Well, so part of the requirement, we would have to put together a cost estimate, so Maureen could help us with that. What we would have to do is say, okay, here's the materials we think we need, and then Maureen would draw it up, and once she draws it up, then we know the length of the trail proposing width, then we know how much surface material we need, how many benches we would need if it was a county route 518, and these are all things that she can help us with. But the Naaman Williams Park, for example, the thing that's been holding us back is I've been told, and I'm sure that this is true just from previous projects, the permitting is over 10,000. The permitting alone is over 10,000 there. So that's kind of been holding us back because to even get permitting approved, so that can be included though in the cost of this.
Yeah, that would definitely benefit.
Sorry.
And then that would probably bring that project up. I mean, then at Naaman Williams, you're looking at boardwalk material because it's wet back there.
Yeah,
So do we have
That's
an
a good one.
estimate for that, or we
We don't
don't?
have an estimate yet, but we can get one. We can definitely get one. I
I
mean,
would suggest that let's get the estimate for all four if we can, and then we can just submit.
yeah, we can't submit all four. We
You
can,
have to submit just one.
One at a time.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was about to say-
Submit which one is the, it looks like the top one is
Yeah.
the.
Well, I mean, I think, we're in the Naaman Williams project. Like, that's something we've already started. So, I mean, to me, that does make sense. I said maybe if we were gonna pick two to kind of do some work on, to have a
Yeah.
backup one, even like one for, next year, if we can reapply,
Yeah.
or a second one that
Right.
if other grants come up, if another Sustainable Jersey grant comes up, that we could have it in the wings. I don't know.
And maybe our
There's some
own
flexibility or
open
not.
space fund might even be.
yeah, open
It might
space
be-
funds, yeah, we
It
can
might
add.
help us too, so that's what I'm saying, if we have the data, they
Yeah.
might say, yeah, we have money on the open space fund too.
Go ahead, Robert.
I just
Yeah.
have a question.
Yeah.
This is just me thinking maybe too much. The Naaman Williams and the Norma Avenue, that was the road I was looking for, that's that
Yes.
crossing, are actually very close to each other. Aren't they both in the mobility plan? I'm wondering if you can get away with calling it a single
Oh.
project.
We might be
That's
able.
why that was my
that's a
thought.
nice connection.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
call it the crosstown connection, because it'll eventually connect
Yeah.
the path between 27 and the
Yes.
school, right?
That is a really good
That's a
idea.
great idea.
Call it one project.
Yeah.
We kill two birds with one stone, and then the open space money becomes a lot more free to do 518 and the.
That's true.
I like that.
Yeah.
We could do that. No, we could do that because our whole point was that people use Naaman Williams as a way to cut through for school. So
Right.
we're basically saying we're gonna make this new trail on the opposite end of Naaman Williams Park. People can come through and then they can use that connection. We probably
All in
can.
one project.
Yes, we probably can do that.
Yeah.
And worse comes to worse and they say, well, we don't really see how this is connected, then we can be like, okay, well, go with this one
And
or
at that
that
point,
one.
we're haggling.
Right,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I think that's a good idea. And then, because our open space trust fund, I mean, we would pay for like a new trail at County Route 518. That would be part of the reason of use for our, so, and in Naaman
And the
Williams,
negative
where it's
vote, right.
located, it's in Ward 4, which we've been really focused on making improvements in that area for sure.
And when you get into cost, just get, for those two areas, just get one cost.
Absolutely.
Don't get it separately.
Yeah,
So
you're
this
right.
way-
Then we get the county to pay for that bid.
That's
and then we
correct.
can pay for
Pay
the other
for the
bids.
county pays for the others.
So are you
I like it.
talking about the crossing, you're talking about the crossing over Franklin Boulevard? At Norma? Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And how about from Naaman Williams crossing Hamilton Street?
I know that one less.
So we had done a micromobility study of kind of getting from Naaman Williams over to like Teen Center and getting over to the municipal building. So there was, so part of that pathway was cutting up a trail that kind of goes between Hillcrest and the Franklin Middle School at Hamilton Street campus. And that's the crossing that Robert's referring to. It's a dangerous crossing.
Yeah.
So I was just,
No,
pointing that
I was
out.
thinking, was it possible to add into this a marked, like a bike path that would connect, like marked bike, where
Yeah.
that connect Naaman Williams to Hillcrest? Because then you would,
Well, it
your argument
is.
would be,
Yeah.
is giving the kids the ability to go back and forth between the park and the school after.
That's actually exactly what it is.
Yeah.
So you should get a copy, right?
Yeah.
'Cause this came
Here,
out
I have it
last
on the
year
screen.
sometime. there's a mobility study that they did, a micro-mobility study in the town, and it had like a bunch of points. And I think the bit that we are very much interested in, you know, as this group have been talking about forever, you'll see that there's name in Williams Park, and then there's like a purple, right, there's the line, you know, to Norma Avenue and all that. So a couple of advantages, right, here, once again, talking off the top of my head. The plan is there, right, so it's shovel ready, you know, as it were, right, to be able to make the grant little things, and it can all be called one project.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and so you can get one bigger, maybe.
Right, but that would include a connector along at Chester or Pershing to get to.
Yeah, you can see the orange lines.
Yeah.
So there's a defined, you know, plan in here, and all of those orange lines, I think, if you look at the key, I think those are the ones that are talking to be turned into bicycle boulevards.
Yeah.
Right, and then with crossings that have the flashing lights, you know, the higher, you know, the higher
bicycle
things.
boulevard.
To make,
Yeah. So-
mobility,
Yeah, that makes
a little bit used. And the curve at Hillcrest, you see the little curve?
Yeah.
There, that is where they're saying to make a shared use path, because if you go there, now I didn't actually walk the thing, but I did.
I did walk the thing.
Did you
There
walk it?
there is a paved
Yeah.
path there already.
Closer to the building,
There's
closer
a-
to the school building.
Yeah.
It goes, so there is a path, you can go into the,
Yeah.
up to the school. So there is a path already there, so we don't need to recreate the wheel.
Okay, that's
The
good.
thing is how to get people safely through the
That's-
congested area
Yeah.
from Eamon Williams down to Franklin Boulevard. And I have a lot of concerns about that.
Well, that's,
The cars are parked double on each side of the road. How are you going to get kids safely from Eamon Williams?
the point is they're already doing it. So the issue and the argument that I am making is that whether we consider it safe or not, right, as we're driving it, you know, in our SUVs at 45 miles an hour, right, kids are crossing that now, right, you know, to get to
From
school.
Eamon Williams down there?
Yes, they are going
We're
on
walking to
foot
school.
from that neighborhood to
Yeah.
Hillcrest Elementary,
Sure.
whether we like it or not. So that's why I think it's that making that intersection safer should be one of our high priorities, right? Because it's a crossing that happens whether we approve or not. You know what I'm saying?
Well, And this is where the
I don't know
focus
if
will
that's for
go.
us or the town should be looking at making that safer anyway.
It should be.
Yeah, but I think we have a role
Another
in.
way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Whose role is it to make that safe for kids to cross?
I think we have a role in making
Is
non-automobile
it something we need
transportation.
to do this for, or is it something the town should be looking into?
Or maybe a
On
partnership?
a combination, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think and I think that's part of that micromobility study, is kind of getting that information. And we can kind of just figure that out. We'll do as much as we can do. But just to kind of step back for a second, so as a group, are we comfortable with leading with a Naaman Williams project and proposing that to the Open Space Committee? Or do we want to talk more about the 518 project or the Negri project?
I would suggest to Neiman Williams because
Yeah.
that's in.
It's already here.
That's gonna impact, yeah.
This is pretty long, so I
Okay.
think we should focus
Sure.
on this and get.
Okay, I agree. I just wanted to make sure we
It will
were.
be quite impactful also for the community in general than the 518 one, so.
Yeah, okay,
This should be our priority, and then we can move on to
Yeah.
18.
that makes sense. That makes sense to me.
Also second guessing the county's priorities here. Because I know one of the priorities is, and it's right in here, is tourism, promoting tourism. That's their big thing right now.
Right.
And we don't have one that really does that particularly. There could be at some point, but it's not kind of
Yeah.
essential. But the other point is making it, healthy lifestyles and the connections, improving the connections.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah.
Safety issue. It's
It's
providing a back and forth where there's a corridor where people can walk and go back and.
yeah.
Where would the walkway to?
Norma, yeah.
Right here, so here's
There's a
Norma,
walkway there.
and
Okay.
here's the proposed, this is from our micro-mobility study, here's the proposed shared use path.
But it's already, there's a path already there.
Right. But, yeah.
You just have to walk a little bit down, and it's already there, and there's a little
Yeah.
light there, you just go right up the path.
We do have a lot of backup we could show for this too. We have the micro-mobility study, we have the health assessment, we have the crime prevention
crime
through environmental
prevention one, that
design
was good.
study, and we have our green infrastructure study that we did a ton of work. So it also show, and we just repaved the path, put new fitness equipment in, so it also shows the county we're invested,
I think that's great. I think that's great. And just, hopefully at the end of the meeting, we'll have some time for more introductions, but Patrick's also an avid cyclist.
Oh,
So
Awesome.
that brings I know we have Chris with his his cycling, keep also how moving stuff going as well. So it's great to have another lens for that. Okay, so I think we're good with the County Trails Grant Program. So then we're in a position to kind of let open space know what we're prioritizing and see where they take it.
Now, what are we thinking of, just before we move on, what are we thinking for the project? Is anything on street or sidewalks, or what is, I'm not sure of the components exactly. I know the multi-use path is something we're considering.
Yeah.
To even go see.
So the main project would be over on this side is where the wooded path would be. So it would be putting in this wooded path, the permitting costs for it and all of that. Then following your way through Naaman Williams Park, you take it to Pershing, really, or you can take Chester if you're going to the youth center. Come over to Norma, so some of it's on street, but the projects here are like bicycle lanes, striping, no major road realignments are proposed for here. And then when you get to this section here is where the shared use path comes in. And the concern is getting from here over to Hillcrest is really where, that's what we gotta, although we would probably, where would we stop? At Hillcrest, I guess.
The path goes right up to the parking lot now.
Oh, okay,
There's a
okay.
path now that takes you right up to the parking lot.
Yeah, so it's like
We'd probably
closer
stop
to-
there.
It's like closer to, the actual building, the
Okay.
Franklin, closer to the parking lot.
Is eligible for this grant, like all of those with this?
I have to look and see. That I'm not 100% sure of, potentially. I'd have to really look and see, what type of treatments are being called for at each section, and are they approvable?
And if the school property wants to have another path there, I mean, there's
Right.
Would that plan also impact street parking?
I believe they said no, that there wouldn't be an impact on street parking because they're not looking to take away. It's really paint striping. It's not anything. Right, yeah. Yep.
The permitting, is that state as well, or DEP, is, because it's wetlands, or
For the
something?
wooded part, because it's wetlands, it's all DEP permitting, and so
That's
there's
state, right?
That's state, yeah. There's a lot, no federal permitting required, but state permitting is there's a culvert back there as well, so that does a whole nother can of worms.
and a condo community behind it.
Right.
That's a lot of.
To me, it's like if even worst case scenario, if we can just get some even like viewing points where you just go into the woods 5 feet, and just be able to kind of like be surrounded. I mean, that's not what I want. I would love to have like a continuation of that path, almost like a parallel path, which we talked about in the past, just like a boardwalk version, the one that was in the crime prevention plan that we had seen. That would be ideal. But I think we can also compromise if the permitting, doesn't let us do what we want. Okay, thank you.
So the engineer would be able to assess whether this is even.
Yeah, so the next step would basically be that at the Tuesday open space meeting, we present this. If they say, yes, we want you to go forward, then we can use, because Maureen will charge her time, to open space. We can use her, she'll draw up a rudimentary plan based on what we had, and then she can really help us with a cost estimate, because any cost estimate really is supposed to be put together by an engineer, and she is an engineer. So we would give her what we're thinking of having there, and they would kind of come up with a baseline cost estimate.
I just want to go on the record saying that I understand what everyone's saying, and there's so much great potential in it, but I also think that putting a trail in 518, having the money to be in one shot, because I see how things go piecemeal, and it doesn't go smoothly, and it takes a long time, would be an amazing thing to happen.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just putting that out.
I guess what am I wondering? This is the first properties that I've been on the committee that's really new that we could work with. I'm under the assumption that we can use open space money to do that, and that we don't have to find the funding to do it. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not looking at us going this route as meaning that we can't do something on that 518 trail. We're going to have to use our own money to do it.
Right.
And we do have money.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So yes, we don't want to like, that doesn't mean we're not going to do the next one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think what Anne Marie is saying, I understand what you're saying, is that sometimes it takes a long time to get that going. Yeah, yep.
And if we could get everything done at one shot, one grant, my God, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I hear you. That's the thing, there's so many things to choose from, right? Yeah.
Well, I know Councilman Crosby was also saying before, can we ask to kind of start the process for two? Could we have also start to do the legwork for the 518? So even if it's not for this grant, but it's like
Yeah.
something that we could have in the wings.
We could. I mean, Maureen will work on this first,
Yeah.
and then when it's done, then she'll do that second.
Okay.
That's the thing. So we can like ask her to do two things, but she won't do. She'll work
This will be
on one.
right, name and Williams
Yeah.
will be the priority.
Yep.
Have we mentioned to the open space about a 518 possible project at all?
We've discussed with Open Space that the Trails Committee went and looked at it, that we're looking to do a loop trail there, but that's kind of as far as it's gone.
So
Yep.
they know a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And one of the when they put the parking lot in for hunters, the reason it's a little larger is because it was with the thought that this eventually will have a trail there, so.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to update our list of adopted trails for committee members. So just as a refresher, Chris and Jignasha, you guys are John Clyde, right? One's the grassland, one's the trails part. I am currently, this is what we can always switch this up, right? I'm currently Bunker Hill and Franklin Park natural areas. Robert, you are currently Middle Bush and the Van Wickle, the trails of the Van Wickle,
Yeah, but
and then
the environmental center.
you'd requested the
You
environmental.
want that, okay.
So that's,
Yes.
so you currently have 3 trails.
Yeah, I'm in, but Van Wickle is so. It's tiny.
It needs work. But it needs.
But no, I definitely, the one I'm actually most interested in is that Bunker Hill environmental.
Okay, so you're,
And I've done it.
So Van Wickle, we don't have on
Finished
here.
the writing, but
yes.
I've got the
Profile
pictures,
of
I
the
did the
trail.
hike, and I'm gonna do like 3 of them, because there's 3 different, kind of like trails,
Okay.
on there, but the white trail right up is.
What is it, the Sealy's Brook Trail?
Yeah, it's like it's off to the side. I don't know.
Okay, Jim, you're currently Inman?
I was Butler, yeah. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're Butler.
You're Butler, okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll add you, okay.
Oh, you have them up there, and I'm like,
Yep.
right on top of my head. Okay.
Middle Bush, I'm sorry, Neiman Williams Park, we don't have anyone on that.
No.
I added that in, not that we have to, but we don't have anyone on it, we probably should. And Patrick is new. Patrick, I don't know what you're interested in, but, we have Neiman Williams, or we could partner up with somebody.
Yeah, that's fine. I ride over there every once in a while, so.
Yeah, Robert, are you wanting, so Robert, you have 3.
Yeah, I'd give
So,
up Middle Bush.
are you wanna- okay.
If you want. I mean, I'd give up any of them. Except for Bunker Hill. I kind of, that's the one I want.
Okay.
I've come to really like that place.
I can do Neiman Williams and I'd take either Middle Bush or Van Wickle.
Okay.
Yeah, Van Wickle is really just the trailhead effectively, right? There's a little bit, there's like a,
No, there actually
There's a real
is.
trail back
There's a real trail there that needs to be cleared up.
yeah, that's what
I
the
would
young
assume
lady
I'd have
was
to climb through
talking
it.
about, right?
Right now, so Middle Bush Park, would you like to take that, Patrick, or do you want to take Neiman Williams? There's not a whole lot associated with it right now, really,
So he was
but,
saying he would do Neiman Williams and then either Middle Bush or
Van Wickle, right, yeah. But Middle Bush, I don't know if you ride through there,
I
or
go through Middle Bush all the time.
you do, yeah, so that might be more convenient for it, and we actually have wooded trails and everything there, so maybe you want to take Middle Bush? That's good with you, Robert?
Yeah, no, that's,
Okay. Well, that's
happy to reduce my portfolio of.
And then we have Neiman Williams open, but I don't know if we need a person on it all the time unless we get this new trail there, then that's a different story. So,
Yeah, and I'm happy to, say it?
I imagine recreation always has activities there.
they are, especially in the summer with the pool and everything, they're there all the time. If we do get this Neiman Williams project off the ground and we do get a trail back there, we definitely will need someone on that because it's
Yeah.
kind of out of sight, so, but that's down the road. So we can leave Neiman Williams open, and I would say if anyone happens to go there and you see anything, let me know, but, yeah, we always, especially in the summer, have recreation there.
Yeah, and I'm happy, if you want to put somebody on there, I'm happy to put my name there too.
Okay.
They start the community garden there?
Yes, right? They did.
I believe so.
I believe they did a lot of
Community was
upgrading.
interested. I mean, it was ready to go.
They did a lot of upgrading, yes.
Started.
Then there was some problems getting someone to actually like be the caretaker of it, and now I think that it's underway. So that is one thing I try to steer clear of.
Before it was all abandoned.
Well, no, when we did the hike there, I don't know when that was, but when with the therapeutic rec, we did
Yeah.
a hike there. And it looked like it was, you know,
It was ready
at
to
that
go.
time, it looked like it was in good shape.
Good, good. Yeah, it was just a matter of getting basically like a person to oversee it.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, that's underway, so.
Is there
I'll
anybody
take a walk by.
who wanted to switch up their trails? Is there anybody who was like looking to like swap trails, or everybody happy with their trails? Okay. All right, moving on.
What about Catalpa Trail? Is
Yeah.
That's me. Well, it's because Bunker Hill used to be its own and Franklin Park used to be its own, but because they're so connected, and the other person who had Bunker Hill left the committee, because I was doing them both anyway, I just merged them.
Yeah.
And so Catalpa is at the Franklin Park side.
All right, sounds good.
So the next item on our agenda is the Firefly Walk, 1 month from tomorrow.
Yes, Firefly Walk. So we have confirmation from the Astronomy Club. They're definitely going to come.
Excellent.
So yeah,
That's wonderful.
they're ready to go. 9:30, and also the Environmental Commission is definitely in. They reached out to Dark Sky International. It's like an organization that basically looks to reduce light pollution. And by doing that, we said, hey, if you have any free giveaways that you want to send us, like go ahead. And they sent us all these stickers and brochures and things you can do to reduce light pollution. So they have things at their table to give away. And they're super excited to be there. So we have things happening, basically. The flyer has been posted. The registration is live on Rec Desk. So yeah, I think we're in good shape for
When you
that.
first shared it, I went and I couldn't find it. I went to the link and I couldn't find it, but maybe I haven't gone back since that day.
Yeah.
Online, you mean, or on,
Well, the rec desk, I went to the,
oh
You
no,
want-
okay.
Oh, you,
Now we just-
she's hiding.
She wants to give it back.
well, I don't want you to give it back, but I have a favor to ask for it. So if you take it, you have to do my favor.
All right, well, I guess now I'm in.
So I made copies of this, so I wanted to ask if you were willing to go and take this to your trail kiosk, and if you could display it. I found that painter's tape actually works surprisingly well, because the wood boards are really hard for staplers, unless you have like a powerful one, but just painter's tape around the edges, it'll stay up. So if you're willing to do that, you can take one of these. If not, I'll do it for you.
By the way, I think there's still nothing at Middle Blue,
Oh,
right?
it's up here,
Well, I
Vanessa.
painted I put all the displays on that big belly garbage can
Yeah.
next to where the kiosk is. So I put the map, I put the flyers, so I'm just pretending that is until that's repaired.
It's on Rec Desk, so there's 8 people
perfect.
registered.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Wow.
If you guys, this is a new thing, Jignash, this is for you, because I know you lead a lot of walks on Rec Desk, since they updated the website. If you go and click on their, like the event, so see, it'll say 50 openings, 42 remaining. So it won't give you the people's names of who are registered, but I know you like to know how many are registered, so, yeah. But, so it looks like we'll have a pretty good program, I
It
think.
sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I think it'll be really good.
I'm so glad Astronomy Club is coming.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
They're in, they did ask to start at 9:30, so a little bit later, which is okay.
We've got a lot of songs to get through.
Only one song, there's only one song. All of theirs, myself,
right?
and then
Firefly?
Firefly's a giant
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So it's on our social media. I guess it has been posted on FTTV as well, so you'll probably see it scrolling through. So yeah, so hopefully it's a good turnout. Yeah, but I think we're in good shape. The only thing I would say is, and it seems, so you're going for sure, right, Vanessa? You'll be there, and then anyone else who can come, just let Vanessa know, you know.
We always need people to take them up and around, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's somebody who doesn't really want to do the hike, but doesn't mind manning the table for late arrivals. So if Anne Marie and I are going, like, we have a head and a caboose, but it's always, there's another person who could help
Yeah.
man the table, that would be great. Okay, so we have all we need for this. So any other logistics? I'll bring the signs.
Signs, you know, I'm trying to think, EC has some giveaways,
So the
but
sign-in sheets. So I don't know if there's a way, like, if we can just, how do we get the sign-in sheets from rec ahead of time?
so normally Janet will email them to me, but sometimes she forgets, and then I typically almost always forget to be like, oh my gosh, Janet, you know?
And I always remember after hours.
Me too, that's what I remember.
Me too.
She's usually pretty good, but yeah, so that's, we have to ask for it,
Okay.
basically. We have to
Okay.
email her and be like, can you please send us the list of people?
Okay, so I will try to, I'll put an alert on my calendar, so, if you can reach out to her,
Right.
so I can like print them before I leave work on Friday.
Yeah, okay.
Are we starting the hike? 8 p.m.?
So 8 o'clock is no, it starts at 8. It has 8 here.
8, if you want to
Because
start a
it's-
little later, I'm sure the EC would be happy to like do a little talk if you want to, like, if you need to fill in time until 9:30, but you start whenever you think.
So no, I think that 8, because people are going to arrive slowly with the sign in. We'll have books out. I have like a whole Firefly library collection of books, so people can kind of like look through those. We do want to wait, and that's also a good time for the Environmental Commission. People
Yeah.
can peruse their tables, but it's not dark enough yet, right?
Mhm.
So we do want, so we want to wait for it to get a little bit darker. And we're thinking if we're, so if we're heading out around 8:30, starting the hike around 8:30, I think that probably would
So
be
that's the
good.
prettiest part, so we go up to the sunset point and then head down, then things start arising from the fields, and that's when the magic happens.
Yeah. And just watching that great sunset over the Sorrel Mountains.
Everyone seen the fireflies there?
No,
It's amazing.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Go rise up out of
They do, it's a beautiful site, yeah.
Same thing at Negri,
Yes.
Yeah,
same thing, all these grasslands.
right. I love it. Yeah, once I saw that, I was like, we have to do a hike.
Yeah.
And like I know like Duke Farms does their Firefly event, but to me, I mean, I like hiking. So I love that idea of walking out. And there's a surprise element too, because when you're walking back, it is like all these great fireflies. So the later we do it, the better. But the problem is they're little kids.
Yeah.
So if we wait too late and we don't start, so we try to kind of like get going, and then like I know when we get back up to the top, we'll often we'll do that extra like loop in the back along the fence for people who want like an extra half mile or whatever it is, or less, quarter of a mile, and let the other people just take the wide roadway pathway back. Because sometimes it's the little ones who need to kind of move on. Yeah.
I also, just so you know, that I also emailed DPW and I got a red receipt, so that's good, to make sure that the garbage cans are empty and the trails are, mowed, and that the barriers are put where they're supposed to be in the back. So I did ask them that, so they've been asked to do that.
That's great.
So I will stay on it, but they've been asked.
That's really important.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Sustainable Jersey certification.
So we submitted our Sustainable Jersey certification application on May 16th. I'm waiting to hear back. They usually take about a month or so to give us, feedback. So we need 350 points to be silver certified. So we always, when I say we, it's really Ted Chase and I work on it. We submitted 405 this way, because they always knock a few things off. They'll be like, no to this for no reason, basically. So hopefully they just accept it. If not, then you have until July 31st to get them the second round of comments, and usually that's okay. So.
Thanks for doing that, Tara.
You're welcome. Hopefully they appreciate it there. I don't know if they will.
Well, I just think that, we do so much great things here.
Yeah.
So to get that I know there's a lot of towns who get those certifications who may not do as much as we do.
Yes, there isn't,
So-
no. I mean, we were able to get the 405 points, like, without really lifting a finger too much.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. But Sustainable Jersey, they're like notorious for like picking, which is fine, they should.
It's a rigorous
But
process.
sometimes it's like, just take what I can
Send
give.
their feedback already?
I'm sorry?
For the final round, did they send their feedback
Not yet,
already?
no. They usually send
I
it
think
to,
June is a closing date. Sometime in
it's like the
Usually they
end.
send the feedback before.
Yep.
Based on the feedback, we can make corrections and then submit.
Absolutely, yeah, we
And
should
usually
get
it
it.
get approved. Once we correct all the feedback.
Right,
it usually get approved.
once you do their corrections, they're
Yeah.
usually good to go,
Yeah.
but I submit a little extra just in case, because I don't feel like doing corrections, but we'll see,
A little cushion.
I know, I'm like, please. So,
What certification level do you anticipate?
the highest level you can get is silver, and that's 350 points. Bronze is 150 points, and then there are these gold stars you can get, so I thought we were gonna be eligible for a gold star because of our plan. But they've since told me that apparently, in order to get a gold star, we meet everything, and this is no one's fault whatsoever, but the Board of Health has to be attending this yearly training through the Department of Community Affairs, which no one ever told them they had to take, because they don't take, so there's nothing I can do to go back and be like, hi, I need you to go back 3 years and show me that you've done these. So they can do it starting now, and we can apply for the gold star separately. We can apply for that when we're done. But I did let Donna Lisi know, and she said, oh, absolutely, we'll take the training. That's no problem at all, because it's free and everything. But it's like, basically, you only take it for Sustainable Jersey certification. So that's okay. So we had everything else. But we'll get the silver level, which is the highest level. And then when we can get our star, we will. So.
Next item, T-shirts for the Trails Advisory Committee members and volunteers.
Let me check my email and see if this guy wrote me back finally, but probably not. So all day, and since last week, I've been trying. I sent the original request for a quote for the T-shirts on June 2nd. He didn't write back yet. I'm like, it's this guy.
Okay.
I have written to him almost every day up until today, and then I called this morning. I'm like, please give me the quote. I need to get it to the Trails Committee. We're meeting on tonight. And he didn't get it to me. So what I can say is this. I submitted him 2 concepts. One with the logo that doesn't say I just put a blue spot over it, the matching blue spot. You know how, I'll show it to you. Trail Committee, is it under? Let's see. Nope. Is it under? No, here it is. There we go. Okay. So this was the concept for the T-shirts that we originally discussed, right? That was from you. So I couldn't I couldn't make the other change on here, so I said, please give me a quote, I'll show you in 1 second, for 25 short sleeve, 25 long sleeve, with the colors we wanted and all that, and then Councilman Karazi had asked if we could see what it would look like without the thing that says Franklin Trails, so I said, here's this logo, can you just show me both ways on the quote? So I literally just put a blue spot over here where it says Franklin Trails, and then he can show it to us both ways, how it looks on the quote with the mock-up. But he didn't send me any mock-up, so I don't have that right now. But what I can say is this. If you guys want to tell me which one of these you like and he sends me the mock-up tomorrow, because Open Space has to approve it, right? I can say, the Trails Committee wants these T-shirts, here's how much it costs, can we do it? And otherwise, we're gonna have to wait. They don't meet all summer, so I just want to put that out there.
Any possibility that you can have that hiker centered? See that now it's kind of low?
That I wasn't able to do, but
That was the whole idea, that you can make it bigger.
you can,
So
yeah.
It looks like nice.
I don't have the 2 images separate, so that's why I tried. I did try to move it, but I couldn't. So all I could do was get rid of the words.
The
Yeah,
other one with the words?
and with the words.
You can hardly see the words too.
Yeah.
Either one is fine.
And I guess you don't know the price. I can email everyone the price, but I'm assuming you
No,
can
I
do it
mean,
regardless, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of the price. I mean, it's a T-shirt, so yeah. So I asked for 25 short sleeve, 25 long sleeve quote, because it's always good to have extra, number one, for new members, volunteers. Also, it's just good to have, you know?
Great. Well, thank you all for responding to all my emails and going over the different designs and giving the feedback. It was helpful to kind of get to this, which is basically just the trail marker signs that we have. That's just an image of our trail marker signs that we have on our trails, and then just expanding it on the outside.
Yeah.
So we do attend a lot of township events, and we are trying to promote. So that'll be good. And so we talked about doing blue on the orange
Blue
shirt.
on the orange,
Yeah.
yep, that's what you said, blue on the orange, 25 long sleeve orange shirt with dark blue lettering with logo, yep.
And we talked about I forget which orange it was. Did we have a? I might be mixing up things from my school.
No, there were several oranges,
There
I
was,
remember.
yeah, there was
Yes.
Stacy orange, and then there was.
Yes.
All right, so I know we talked about it in the email as well.
Okay.
Which orange we preferred, that was in there as well.
Got it. I put the orange down. Now, if they only have one color orange there, then
Makes our life easier.
that's what it'll be. Yeah, because otherwise, then I have to. That's really our
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm mixing up my school and this.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
And I know
Yeah.
we had gotten, I guess my school, we had gotten from the colors they actually had and
Yeah.
we picked.
That would be nice.
So I don't know if the
yeah.
oranges we were looking at, those were more generic and not from the company.
They were from the company.
Yeah, so we'd have to
no.
pick from the oranges they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So everyone's good with when I go to the open space committee, if they come back and say, for all these t-shirts, it's $150 or $200, you don't care, we're gonna go with it. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really affordable.
And with the logo, with the words or without the words?
I would like it with the words, just because
Okay.
that's just the trail marker sign. And I think like you were, I think I would like it
It
better.
fills it the square.
If it
If
was.
it was,
Yeah,
I think we'll make it clear.
without it, doesn't look good.
Yeah, and I
You
know,
can
like-
go with the word.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay, perfect. So that's, hopefully then, it should come in pretty quickly, so, okay.
Nice.
And the prices seemed incredibly fair and reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, next item, we're going on to old business.
New business. 4th of July. Are we going to have a table set up? I haven't heard anything about the 4th of July
I
celebration.
wasn't thinking about it.
It's gonna be the
Friday.
3rd, actually. It's gonna be on the
It's
3rd.
on Thursday.
I understand it's on the
Friday's,
3rd,
July
yeah.
4th is Friday.
So it's usually on the
So the fireworks, yeah, they were announced.
It'll be July 3rd? Yeah, I was looking for it. I didn't see. Okay, so that's July 3rd. And also I got the email for all the summer concert series on the green. If we want to set up tables for some of those events, I don't know.
Do you guys want me to ask about the July 4th? Like, if I ask for a table, will someone definitely be there? Because if I ask for the table, it'll probably just be like, yes, you have a table.
I'm not sure if I can be there or not. I'm still working on my vacation plans. I'm off that week and the next week. So if I go away, I won't be available. If I end up staying home like I did for spring break, I'll be happy. I love going there. Jim has the best spot to watch the fireworks.
Yes.
I would suggest just let's have a table on the Franklin Day. Because
Yeah.
Franklin Day, it's like 10,000 people come,
Yeah.
and anybody who comes to the firework, they will be there, believe me.
Well, we normally do both. In the past, we've done both.
Oh, you've done that?
Yeah,
Okay, if you
yeah.
want to do it, that's fine too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it's a matter of if anybody's interested in helping to man the table.
I could do it.
Oh,
Sure.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's nice.
And, yeah, if anybody else is available, it'd be nice to have.
I usually go.
I know, if I'm around, I'm totally going. I like it. Yeah.
I
So we'll
would,
just need to get.
I would, and I normally go to that fireworks show. I love it, but I'm actually going to be in Wildwood.
You're lucky. I just got back from Wildwood. I love Wildwood. That's like my favorite place. Yeah. The trail. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so Jim, we can coordinate as far as like stuff.
The supplies and
Yeah.
everything like that,
Yeah.
the maps, yeah.
Right, so, I know you have your wagon, he's a pro.
We're going to use Saturday for the mini dump.
Okay. Anything else for new business? All right, old business, pathways and trails plan.
Well,
I feel like we need a drum roll, but not yet.
I know. So the Pathways and Trails Plan was supposed to be adopted into the master plan on June 4th. On June 4th at 2:00 PM, I received a phone call that the noticing was not properly done for the meeting, for the hearing. So they have since re-noticed it, because if the noticing is not properly done and it gets adopted into the master plan, it's actually technically really not adopted into the master plan, and it can be challenged. So it's now on for June 18th. June 18th. So, and it has since been properly noticed, so.
I'm sure it'd be great.
Yes, so let's hope. Is any,
I saw that
I
email.
know,
You gotta be
oh my
kidding.
gosh, I was like, but, so if anyone's able to go,
How long have you been working here?
since 2018,
That's what I need, so 6 years.
yes,
And we were working on this before you came.
yes.
Just to give you all a frame of reference.
Yes,
It's updated every 10 years, we should start.
Oh my
Yeah, we should
God.
go with the next one.
And Tara expedited the process. Like, she really streamlined us.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know. Wow. Okay, our next item is the partnership with Stigma Free Franklin for a September walk, on
Yes.
September 27th.
so,
If
yeah.
you remember, we mentioned that we also wanted to have advisory board of health. to be
Yes.
part of that.
Yes,
And
so I've
you
spoken to
contacted-
them. I spoke with Donna Lisi, she's the chair of the Advisory Board of Health, and they're very interested in partnering with us, which is great. I also spoke with Safi Callan from Stigma Free Council. She really wants to do it, and she said that they actually wanted to try and do something last year, but it was the first year of the Stigma Free Council, and they just didn't have time. So they really want to partner. We started looking at, there is like brochures and pamphlets and things like that you can order from the Suicide Prevention Foundation. So we're trying to get those in. She liked the idea of writing the message on a piece of paper, and you can put it on your back. And then when you walk this way, it's like the person behind you is reading that message. And then we'll also do the resolution at council. And I think we said the September 9th meeting, we would do the council resolution. And so if people from Trails can be there, then Councilman Karazi can read the resolution, and someone from Trails can be there to kind of accept it. And then the date we were looking at, it's the weekend after Franklin Day. So I think that's September 27th.
Yeah.
September 27th. Because we obviously don't want to do it the same time as Franklin Day. And
Oh,
honestly,
the 13th is Franklin Day?
the 20th is Franklin Day. Doing
Oh,
it
sorry.
leading up to Franklin Day would be very difficult for Safi, because she
Yeah.
basically has a huge role in Franklin Day. So the 27th, it's after, it's still in the month of September, and then we do the resolution at September 9th, and that gives a whole month of awareness, basically. So Patrick, just for your, because this is your first meeting. Oh, well, you were at the last meeting, but.
I heard, yeah.
Yeah, so you're aware of it, so yeah. So the only thing I think we need to figure out, we said it was gonna be at Inman, is that right? Do I have that right? Inman. Okay, so we said we were gonna do it at Inman. We really just kinda need to, we don't need to nail down right now a time or anything, but we need to do a flyer, and we need to kinda also, someone from here, or people from here will lead the walk, through the wooded trail. The messages are kinda cool, if we can get the giveaways. Advisory Board of Health will have some hopefully things to give away, if maybe someone there can speak to services that are available. And then, I don't know if there's anything else anyone here wants to do, but we have time to think about it, but we need to just start kind of working on it.
What's our target audience?
Township, I guess we're gonna open to everybody, correct?
Yeah, it's open to everybody.
Right.
I don't know, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak only because I don't know. My first initial thought is that it would be youth, but I'm not sure really, because I mean, I guess I'd have to find out more information, like where is
Well,
the,
Because it's so
It's
broad.
kind of like vulnerable.
who's the most vulnerable?
It's vulnerable
Yeah.
people, because I think we
Yeah.
started talking about
All ages,
LGBTQ+,
actually.
we were talking about other groups of
Trans.
people, who just who have like, higher rates of suicide, have higher
Yeah.
rates of mental health, obstacles.
Yeah.
So,
You know what, one thing actually we could do, I just thought of this, for another project I'm working on, I have to talk to the person that is in charge of diversity and equity and inclusion at Robert Wood Johnson at their Babs Sipperstein Center, which is the medical center for LGBTQIA plus community. And he actually told me in one time that the LGBTQIA population, they actually have the highest risk of suicide. So I wonder if we can get something from them too, even if it's just like pamphlets or stickers or something like that, or maybe he can come.
Promoting.
And also,
Promoting
We could
it.
like have one of our flyers.
Right, if they would do, I'm sure he would do it.
and the veterans also, that's another group. that-
Veterans, you're right.
We can get, I think they're stigma free, they had a
Yes.
program with them.
And the
last-
county has a
Yeah,
Veterans
yeah, so,
Affairs, yeah.
We can get something from them.
So maybe we can promote it at those groups too, yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
just thinking about how
Yeah.
to target it, because when you call something stigma-free, it's not targeting anything particular. Maybe
Correct.
it's a good thing, but you want to have you want to include as many people.
Right.
So how do you market it so that a lot of people feel included
Like how
in
do you
that
brand
activity?
it?
Yeah.
So I think the way that I thought is going to happen, the main message is going to be for the suicide prevention awareness. And then we can have like sponsored by this and that, so we can have just
How do
sponsor.
you and I was wondering the same thing as Anne Marie. Is like, how do you advertise that? Do you say suicide
Oh.
prevention? Like, is it am I going to want to go a suicide prevention
right?
walk?
No, the awareness, I
Instead of
think.
using the suicide word, if we use some other word which is like synonym to suicide, but it will.
But September
but what's the
is
opposite of-
Suicide Awareness Month. And we're going to be having a resolution for that purpose. Almost 48,000 people, they kill themselves every year in the United States, right? So we need to increase the awareness. That's what the resolution is going to be all about. So the
we have
walk
to have
is to raise the awareness about the suicide, so hopefully people will be aware and then
I'm
start
wondering
doing it.
how you package is it like mental health?
Emotional well-being.
Mental health and wellness.
More of a wellness.
Dash
Yeah.
suicide prevention.
Yeah, and
You know
emotional
what I mean? Like,
Problem with, I tell you what the problem is, because when you start talking about mental health, a lot of people will either not come, or they just say, okay, this is something that is not related. But the speakers, they can talk about the causes for example, suicide. One is the mental health. The others are some other, whatever the reasons are, right? But if we put on the brochure I think should be just the suicide awareness, but we got to mention that the why is so important for people to know that among our community members, there are people that they're going to commit suicide. And if we increase awareness, hopefully they will not do that.
But if you label something suicide prevention or suicide awareness, I don't think you're going to get the same response from the community as if you call it something else. Like if we're thinking about wellness or health, because how would people self-define themselves? If people are at risk, I doubt they're going to come to a hike like that, labeled like that. I'm just thinking, how can we market this to as many
Positive,
people?
right?
Yeah, something positive.
That emotional wellness.
So I'd like
will
the
be
idea of a
fantastic.
synonym.
Emotional wellness.
Yeah, emotional wellness walk.
or something like that, yeah. And there has to be, it's not like this is the first one that's ever been
Right.
done.
No.
Let me pull up AI and ask for a
Definitely. I mean, I think on just to play like devil's advocate, on the other side, it's like, this is, we're trying to remove that bad feeling, the stigma. And it's like, if we don't want to water it down either, because we are laser focused on suicide prevention awareness. So in this instance, I should say, for September, which is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month.
Well, we could still draw them in and have all that information available to everyone.
Could we have
That
it
would
both?
That would be successful.
Could we have emotional health, or emotional wellness, and suicide prevention?
Well, yeah, in recognition of suicide prevention.
Fine, like maybe mental well-being and suicide prevention.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good discussion, but I agree with Tara. The whole idea is to remove this stigma-free, make it, just remove the stigma that when you talk about suicide, that's a bad thing you're not supposed to talk to. We wanted to bring it to open, right? We wanted people to know, hey, there's a problem like with mental health, the same thing with the suicide also.
Yeah.
So I know you're trying to make it something that attracts people, but I believe just mention the suicide prevention and talking about it, that why it's so devastating to the people. And the magnitude of that, is like the size of all the soldiers have been killed almost in Vietnam War. Every year, we losing that many people.
That's terrible.
So what Robert was just saying, I'm sorry, Daniel was just saying, that in recognition of Suicide Prevention Month.
Well, that's my note.
That'd be fine.
Then you said Robert, then you said
Yeah,
Daniel.
that'd be fine.
Patrick,
That's
You know,
good, yeah.
we're offering a wellness hike, or come out and experience nature with us. Something inclusive, something that'll get
Yeah.
people.
I don't know, I guess, I remember when we first started talking, in my memory, when we first started talking about this, it was to like bring in like marginalized groups, and it wasn't about suicide prevention. And I think suicide prevention is great, but that's not where we started. Like, we started with like an inclusion, right?
I think we did start with suicide prevention because we talked about the sweatshirt that has the message on the back that basically says like the world is better with you in it. And then we found out Suicide Prevention Month is September, so we were like, oh, this is good. We have time. And then when I talked to Safi, she was like, oh, I want to do something for suicide prevention.
Yeah,
So I think we did start going down that path. But, we could include other things. We can definitely do a mental health walk at another time. There's definitely tons of
Because we
options.
want to bring in everybody, because it is an issue
How about
that
something
affects
like
everybody.
that,
It's something that will
yeah.
draw upon all these different communities.
Well, how about please join the Franklin Township Trail Advisory for a beautiful trail walk in recognition, to increase suicide awareness or something like that.
I was thinking some more holistic terms, I have synonyms for holistic, and it's like all-inclusive, encompassing, something drawing everyone in, maybe a little more specific, but I don't have anything right off the top of my head, but there's all these holistic terms that would probably fit a lot of, what do you call it, communities, or...
Yeah.
But I don't have anything right off the top of my head. I'm throwing something out, so maybe someone else can expand on it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm also, as I'm listening, I'm wondering, is this, when I hear you speak, it's, to me, this is not necessarily so much for the people who are depressed
No.
and considering suicide. It's, which I think is what you and I were thinking, more of like kind of connecting and bringing people in who are vulnerable. What I'm hearing you say
Or
is
people
more
affected.
for like the families
Yes.
of and communities around
Yes.
to have awareness of what it is. So
What are the signs and what are the things that family can do to prevent somebody to commit suicide? Is that the same as the mental health, The person that has the mental health doesn't even recognize that they have it most of the time.
Right.
The people surrounding, when they recognize, they will work with that person to help that person not to fear or not to have the stigma to talk about it, right? So we still have time to come up with something, but it's
Army calls it Wellness Walk. Hike for Healing is another group. Hike for Hope is another group. Out of the
Hope.
Darkness Walks is another group.
Hike for Life.
This is
Hike for Life.
This is
Hike for Life. How about that one?
Thank you.
For life thing.
Suicide prevention hike.
yeah.
That's a good
Hike for life, hike for hope.
I like that.
Stigma free talk walk. Encouraging people to just.
But I just think stigma free, I think that's also a little confusing.
You don't want it.
Word also still not
That's not
good.
needed, you're right.
Hike for life, hike for hope, and then we could put on the flyer even
then
like
say
recognition for suicide prevention.
Suicide awareness
Yeah.
and prevention.
I think you're gonna honestly, I really think only having kids that are high school age, I think you're gonna get a lot of like people that are parents of that age group, because as a parent, and Pravesh, we were just talking about having a kid this age, when they're in high school, you get this nonstop, because these kids are, and well, obviously,
Yeah.
they're more and more and more at risk. They really are, because of the type of world we live in.
Yeah.
So are we targeting the parents of the kids? Are we targeting the kids?
Parents, kids, people have been affected by it. So someone who's had a loved one that has committed suicide, someone who has had a loved one that has thought about committing suicide, people themselves who have been, you don't know, but someone might come and be like, I'm down and I just want to come here and be out with people and not feel nervous. You never know. So. But we have time, but I like those titles, Hike for Life, Hike for Hope, that's all good stuff, so.
Hike for Life sounds almost like the abortion issue, so I like Hike for Hope a little
Oh,
bit.
right, okay, yes. You're right about that. Yes, we don't want
You have to be so careful.
to. Yes,
It's a minefield.
it is, you're right. I like it.
Okay.
So we're gonna go forward with it, and then we'll work out the details as we go along, so.
That makes sense.
But keep that date, September 27th, Inman Park.
Okay.
And it just sounds like we might need to have multiple hikes to kind of touch upon all these things that we're all saying are valuable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Profile of a trail.
I can't write to save my life, so if someone else wants to take this one over.
I think Robert said he's almost
I am
done with
on the
his.
cusp.
Excellent.
I'm on the cusp of producing my first,
Nice.
and I actually want to do 3 of them.
Cool.
It's technical writing, right? We're just,
No, it should be like your experience, some pictures, okay. Whatever works. So write it, Robert, when you're ready, you can send it, we'll look at it, we can get it posted, it'll be great.
Most importantly, I want to have pictures to go with it now.
Okay. That works, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We had the climate, next moving on to trail walks and events, we had the climate walk on May 17th.
That was pretty successful.
Yeah, that was a
We had
6
a
mile
good crowd
run.
and a good walk.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
One of our longest ones. I think it's our longest one to date
3 months.
That's great.
in terms of time, right? Don't you think?
It was.
It's a real hike. It's a real hike.
We can submit that, remind me, Jignasha, next time, we can submit that for Sustainable Jersey, for sure. So next time you hear me talk about Sustainable Jersey, just remind me, be like, oh, remember that?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
I know, right? Because you're like, yeah, I'll remember that too. All right.
Ideas for summer. So in addition to the Firefly hike, any other ideas, interest in leading hikes?
And that part, stigma-free thing
Yeah.
also, right?
That's
Are you
for
gonna
summer
maybe do the
one.
runs again, Chris, do you think, or you don't know?
I think too, I just had to get permission from the boss at home.
There you go. We'll see if you want to do it, because I think those were cool, and that was different because it was a run, you know, so I like that. Even, I know you know, Vanessa said you're a cyclist, and I know you are too. There's nothing, we can definitely try to maybe organize something like that too, you know, maybe like some kind of cycling kind of thing. I would have to think about it, but
Just figure what trail would work best for that. I think that's something.
yeah, these guys maybe, yeah, think about it maybe.
We don't have any trails other than the canal that.
Yeah, so it might be
There's
hard.
mountain biking in the reservoir, the 6 mile run, but,
Yeah.
Well, the simple
As far
one
as our
might be the
Franklin
middle
trail.
bush, if you can
I don't know how
take the
to
loop
Hard.
around from the
What about
back.
for little kids?
That could be it. It's a
Way around
simple-
like a paved thing.
yeah, I mean, that's simple.
For little kids.
Yeah, if you want to do it for little kids.
Little kids, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on who the,
Nice, right?
Do you guys want to push on bike clinics?
I want to do one with you.
Yeah, that would
that would be
be
awesome.
I don't think you guys understand. If you wanna, just for you guys, so frame of reference, professionally, Chris knows the ins and the outs of a bike rodeo, a bike clinic. Like, he will impress you to
If you
know
could do that, because we could do it at Middle Bush, and the sensory trail is there, the zip line, I mean, they have stuff to do
Yeah.
afterwards. Maybe if you'd be willing to do that.
It's not something put together.
Could we do something like on grass?
No, the bikes for kids because it's too hard to
Yeah.
do all of that.
Yeah.
Well, this is just one thing, yeah, but if you can do, if you can arrange that, I bet you we get some, and then maybe these people come to another hike, you know, because they'll be happy that we did something for little kids, which would be nice.
Yeah, Middle Bush Park, like they have a lot of, I'll have to look at their calendar to see what's available. And, yeah, I mean, I've access to a lot of cones and materials that we can use to market. And the police department actually did one.
Did a rodeo recently, yeah.
I don't think it was this past year, but the prior year, because I took my son. And it was at the middle school. Yeah, it was at the middle school, so they may be interested in partnering.
Oh, perfect, okay. Yeah, we could do it at Middle Bush or Neiman Williams Park. We could do it at Neiman Williams Park, actually, too. That might be even be better.
yeah, that'll attract people.
Yeah.
Nice idea.
And are we looking for feedback sessions with the
Neiman Williams, yeah, about the trail.
Want to do that, we could do that too, good idea. If you're willing to do it, I mean, yeah, if you find a time or a date, maybe like think about it and, you know, get your permissions in place and then let us know.
Towards the fall would be like,
Better? Okay.
I mean, being on a hot parking lot is just.
I hear ya.
There's a pool though at Neiman Williams.
That's right.
Chris, when you did the trail running, how many people did you get for that
We only
usually?
had a few. We had 2 steady members. One of them I see in town because he works at a grocery store, but he remembers us and he's waiting for more dates. So, yeah.
Well, if you
it's
want
a
to even
building
do
thing.
one, if you are like, you know, I can commit to doing one, then we can do that in the summer. It doesn't have to be a series if you don't have the time for it, you
The
know?
other thing is, I don't know who has availability in their schedule, but I know at the May 17th hike, we had some people who've been coming to our hikes for a few years, and we're asking about the 55 and older hikes that Chuck used to do during the week. So they're looking to see if, so I don't know if anybody has flexibility in their work schedule, if they'd ever want to do a 55 and older hike during like a regular block of time. I'm not available, unless we did it like on a spring break, winter break thing.
All right, we can think about it, but yeah, those were nice. They were
Yeah,
well
that's a
attended.
need. I feel like that's a need
They're
that we're
well
hearing
attended.
from our hikers.
Okay.
How long were those hikes?
I don't know, like I would say probably 2 or 3 miles. I don't think they did a lot of Butler. They did several of Butler.
I think they did some Griggstown.
Yeah.
Some Griggstown. Yeah, I don't think
I could ask Chuck.
because like I know Chuck.
I'll ask
You know, Chuck's not. He doesn't like to go that far.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That,
I feel like they were like a mile each way.
So it might have been-
I'm pretty
okay.
sure, yeah, if I
I'm just
remember.
wondering, the mobility, like, who comes out for those, if it's very
Yeah, they were very well attended, yeah.
active people, or people who are looking for a very flat.
Flat. He made sure it was flat for the
They
most
just
part.
but they were. I mean, the people who came were. I mean, I think they were. It wasn't like they were capable. It wasn't like it wasn't too rigorous for them. I thought they were healthy.
And I'm
You
sure
know.
he stopped a lot and explained things along the way, so
Yeah, I mean,
I'll ask Chuck.
The other thing we could do again, if we're looking for like filler for the summer, like one thing is we could partner with the cops again. Remember we had the walk with a cop and they did trail safety stuff. We could just
Yeah.
repeat that. I know they're always looking, the Community Relations Bureau, they're always looking for stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could ask them if they want to lead something.
Yeah. And I'm happy to do a storybook hike as well.
Okay.
I can do. I know, and we have. I'm just trying to think of, because if we're doing the suicide prevention in September, I'm just trying to think of like when we want to do like the fall, like autumn, like you know, we have like those like what is it called, like one of those bingo cards that have all the
Oh, the
different-
scavenger hunt.
Thank you, the
Yeah,
scavenger
yeah,
hunt. So I know you last year did the storybook hikes in the fall as well.
And Ignatia had the scavenger hunt materials.
Yeah.
That was successful.
I have those
Kids really
copies,
like
yes,
that.
Yeah.
They
And
enjoyed
older
it.
kids like that too.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, we have some
I can
ideas.
do one on June 29th for little kids.
Okay. June,
Come up with
the
the name later. I will let you know within a day or two.
at
June
John
29th.
June
I'm
29th at John
thinking which
Clyde.
one would be better for kids. Which is not John Clyde. I don't want to do because it's more open. Because it's right after school. Most of the schools are ending in around
Yeah.
24th, 25th. So I want to keep right after the school closing. So June 29th would be the best day. But I don't know which trail would be best for kids.
There's so many. I mean, I think because we're gonna do the September one at Inman. So you know, I wouldn't do Inman. They're all so good. I mean, Negri's a great one. Oh, but you're gonna want more shade. So yeah, I wouldn't.
That's
do
why I'm
Negri.
asking.
Don't do Negri.
So Middle Bush
I mean,
might be a good
mine's-
option there because they do have the covered area as well. So you know that could be
I think, well, I'm biased, but I think like the Bunker Hill Natural Area,
Well,
Franklin
yeah.
Park, there's a lot of shade.
There
There's
is.
a lot of shade there.
It has a good
and it's
shade.
very natural.
What's the big
About
wide
how
flat
long-
trail there? Is that the yellow trail?
It's the yellow trail.
That's
Yeah.
really-
Yeah, and the flat also, because.
And then you can do that if you hop off, is it the red, right off of it, and then you can just do the red and right back to the yellow, and that you have all those poplar trees there, and that's it's
That'll work.
It's pretty, it's easy.
All right, so you'll live.
Cars or something, and it's so far away, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah, the parking.
We
might
want to
be-
kind of have
Parking
like,
is
far
fine,
away
enough,
from.
I think,
Okay.
that parking is good.
Okay.
So you'll let me know the theme after you let me know. Yeah, think
Yeah.
about it, and then we can do that.
So
Okay.
Bunker Hill is fine then.
Excellent. All right, so we got June covered, we got September covered, so we'll try and do something. Oh, July, we have the Firefly hike, so if we can do one more, if the police want to do it, or if Chris, you decide you want to do a summer run, then that'll be the thing. So either that, or both. Okay.
Is there about the August?
Yeah, does that, July, August, whatever, yeah.
Is anybody available to support Jignasha with the June 29th hike? People just look at that.
That's like prime time, right?
I don't know right now.
All right, well, if you're available, let Jignasha
Yeah.
know.
We'll let you know, yeah.
I just want to make sure you have a second person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I just, right now, that's my vacation week, so I'm not sure yet.
You gotta make those plans.
I know.
You gotta get away though. I'm pushing for you for
Okay, so then we talked about a lot of hikes. Updates on trail conditions. So I just want to kind of circle back to what Robert was saying about the kiosk at Middlebush. Like, I think that has to be like a priority, where you have just the beams and the roof, but no
It's been
board.
around for like more than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a way that we
And that's
could
such a central
prioritize
park.
that, or-
How is it that flagship park doesn't have?
Exactly.
You know?
We can't
We're the only ones
I
complaining.
don't really like that park. I don't really like Middlebush. The trail, trail there, it's all out.
Absolutely,
it's all
positively,
pavement.
without question, the most used park in the town with all the soccer that goes on there.
But yeah, but it's,
Soccer and.
yeah, but for trails,
Well, there's small trail
Skateboards.
side, yeah.
I think the skateboard part is very.
It's actually pretty. I mean, if you bike through the town, it ends up connecting a bunch of trails. I mean, I really like Middlebush Park. It's
Well, you just gave it up, so I don't know how much you like.
All right, so there's no board there. I have that down to tell DPW again.
Yeah. Oh, man. Any other updates that are not entered that you wanted to share?
On John Clyde, if you remember when we were there, we took the picture for the display board, which is like kind of weathered completely, the information. So it was previously done by the fossil company, Fossil Services.
Are you talking about the
Display board.
what do they call those? The signage with information?
The informative sign thing,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about,
We have it in
yeah.
our plan.
We have it on our plan?
Wayfinding and informative signage. Yes.
Okay. So it was by Fossil Graphic Services.
Yes. And I
It was
think
done by Fossil Graphic Services.
I emailed you about that. I forgot,
You did.
Sarah. And I had reached out to the company and they actually answered my call, but then I was like, what am I doing? I need to talk to Tara.
No, that's okay, yeah, okay, I have it down. I remember you emailed me about it, yeah, so.
On John Clyde, 2 or 3 of them on John Clyde.
Yeah.
There are 3.
Okay.
Yeah. One in the parking lot, one is little inside on the red trail, and the third by the Sunset Point. There are total 3.
And then there's the same issue at Negri.
Yeah.
They're the only trails that we have that really have good signage, but they're all.
They're all.
They're all weathered. and-
Expired.
Yeah, it's pretty old now.
And my sister-in-law, actually, that's what she does. She works for the state. She used to work at Liberty State Park, and now because that park isn't really functioning the way it used to. She's in charge of all the signs at the state parks.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. She could be a resource to us in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where
Yeah,
we can put
okay.
Connections or information. And she does maps and signage.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's helpful.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. With nothing else on the agenda, can we have a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right.
Right.
Move.